things, guys and gals, are scammy scam. If you are enjoying the content that we are throwing up, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and be sure to subscribe for more amazing content. So we're going to talk about credit. Credit. They say that cash is king, and I'm of the mindset that if cash is king, then credit is divine. As a person that has worked as a former bill collector for the early part of my career, I can tell you that I have talked to people from all spectrums of credit, from folks that have super high credit scores to individuals that, their credit score really couldn't get them a sandwich from the store. You can't judge because it's not where you start in life, it's where you end up. So this video, the objective specifically is to help you build your credit. If you already have amazing credit, then my goal is to help you maintain that, because to whom much is given, much is required. But let's briefly talk about some of the benefits of good credit or great credit. And what do you define as great credit? Great credit is defined as anything 700 or above. I am blessed to be able to say that I am part of the 800 club. It wasn't easy. I'll tell you, it took a lot of hard work. And for those that don't believe me, because I know some folks like to see actual numbers, here it is right here. Here's my credit score. Put that a little closer to the camera. Hopefully you can see it. If not, I'll put it on the side of the screen. But as of this recording, my credit score is 804. I am very proud of that, but it really doesn't do much for me on a day-to-day. But there are scenarios where having great credit is a huge blessing. But let's talk about some of the benefits of having a great credit score. Number one is having an amazing amount of leverage and negotiating power. Specifically in this pandemic that we are dealing with right now, credit is going to be very key, because many believe that the housing market is going to eventually crash and hit a bubble. That's going to present itself with opportunity for those that not only have cash ready to deploy on the side, but have amazing credit scores. As unfortunate as a pandemic is, and my heart goes out to individuals that are affected by it financially, what I will tell you is that whenever there is a end of times type of scenario, which we're dealing with right now, prior to this was the housing crash back in 2008, if you're old enough to remember. But this is going to present an amazing buy opportunity for folks that are looking to make the leap and purchase their first home. So when you have a high credit score, guys and gals, interest rates are lower than they have been in decades. The Fed has talked about how they are not going to raise interest rates until at least 2022. So that presents an amazing opportunity for those of you that have good credit. And it presents a little bit of time for those that may not have credit that's so hot to build that credit up. And that's what we're going to learn about in today's video. It's going to save you thousands of dollars over your life. Now, as odd as this is to believe, did you know that having a great credit score can either make or break you getting that dream job? Did you know that? I didn't until later on in life. But lots of employers actually check your credit score to see how you handle your fiscal responsibilities. Many employers now do run a credit check on you before making a formal offer of employment for you. And so if you are working, especially if you're working in banking or anything finance related, you're going to want to make sure that your credit score is on point, because that literally could make the difference. Even though you had a great interview, even though you just wowed them during the whole hiring process, you get to the end only to find out when they run that background check on you, your credit is not on point. That could make a difference in you getting the job. If you're dealing with a little bit of downtime now, definitely take the keys that you're going to learn in this video as an amazing opportunity to get that credit score bumped up. That way, when you're ready for that dream job, there is nothing that's going to hold you back from the hiring manager saying you're hired. The next advantage of having a great credit score is that you actually save on car insurance and many other insurances for that matter. Car insurance companies actually check your credit score in addition to your driving record to see, again, your credit being a blueprint of who you are and your responsibility or your irresponsibility with money. The next benefit of having a high credit score is little to no money down in the form of security deposits. Many of you know, and I'm a former renter as well, I did not know this until I got my first apartment. So having a really good credit score can actually help you get either a situation where you have to put very little money down in the form of a deposit, or in most cases no money down. So when it's time for me to upgrade my phone, for example, and I'm rocking the iPhone 8s. When it's time to upgrade, I don't ever have to pay any money down because I have a really good credit score. So here's the main thing as it relates to fixing your credit and or building your credit in general. You can't take the approach of having your head in the sand. I know you might feel like when you download the Credit Karma app, which is what I utilize, you might see that credit score and that thing looks just pitiful. Everyone starts from a certain point. So it's better that you have, believe it or not, it's better to have bad credit than no credit, even if it's basura, than to not have any credit score at all. Find out where you stand. Download the Credit Karma app. Find out what your score is. You can actually get a free credit report every year by going to annual credit report, but pull your actual credit report, pull it down for free, find out what the derogatory marks are on your credit report, and in some instances, if it's been long enough, it will actually eventually fall off of your current reporting. A lot of times people ask me, well, Marv, should I, pay this old cell phone bill from like 2005? And what I tell them is, what has the most impact on your day-to-day life? And again, this is just for informational purposes only, of course, but what has the most impact on your day-to-day life is what's happened with you credit-wise within the last 7 years. Now, what that means is, although it is no longer something from 2002, for example, is no longer reporting on your credit report, that doesn't mean that obligation is not still there, but it isn't affecting you anymore as it relates to your credit. So when creditors are looking at what they're going to offer you in the form of a good rate, interest rate, or whatever the case is, they're looking at everything that's taken place in the last 7 years. And that's how the three reporting agencies, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, as far as what they report, they're always reporting what's current within the last 7 years. That's super duper important. So if it's older than 7 years and you don't see it on your credit report, you might actually be out of the woods. What I'll tell you is at least find out what is currently reporting on your credit. Is it reporting as a charge off? Is it reporting as a settled in full? Is it reporting as a paid in full? What is the situation with the derogatory things that are on your credit? The thing that creditors are always looking at, guys and gals, how consistently you pay your bills, how old is your oldest debt as far as revolving lines of credit, if you have major payments on a regular basis. So if you are handling your business, or maybe you fell off a couple years ago, or maybe right now, because of COVID, you're not able to take care of your obligations, give them a call. Don't let it get to that point to where it charges off on your credit, because once that's happened, boom, your credit is shot. If you are in a situation, especially right now with everything going on, creditors are working with you. They are willing to keep you on, showing as currently paying, you're in good standing. You never want to take that head in the sand approach, guys and gals, because you're only going to hurt yourself, because they're going to charge that debt off, write it off from their tax perspective, but it is still going to haunt you. And then some other collection agency is going to buy that debt for pennies on the dollar and then come after you for it. And then when you pay that, then at that point, it's really not going to have most powerful impact as it will by nipping it in the bud initially. So find out where you stand, find out what your situation is, and then we go to the next step. The next step now is, if you see anything that looks like it's an error, dispute it. Don't try to leave that stuff on there, especially if you don't recognize that particular, if it's a medical bill, a cell phone bill, or whatever the case is. If you know that that is not your debt and you don't recognize what is reporting, what that company is that's reporting, dispute it, because then that puts the onus back on the reporting agencies to verify that debt and verify that it's legitimate. And if it's not, and or the creditor that initially filed it does not respond to the inquiry, it falls off. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But you have to be diligent. You have to do the job and say, okay, you know what? This doesn't look right. I really don't think that this is accurate. And then you dispute it. And then in 30 days, And you have to be very formal with it. You know, type up a formal letter, sign it, go get it notarized if you want to make it look official looking. But most of the credit reporting apps, if you go directly to them, you could just dispute it right on the website, and then they will let you know what happens with that particular debt, and it might fall off. You never know. The main thing is that you don't want to go to one of the credit repair companies that'll tell you that they're going to fix your credit if you pay them $100 a month or whatever the case is. Those things, guys and gals, are scam. They don't do anything for you, especially that you cannot do for yourself. But if you want to take a head in the sand approach and you don't want to be responsible for your financial future, 9 times out of 10, you're probably not even watching this video. If you are the type of person that really wants to take the bull by the horns, you don't have to hire a company to go out and fight on your behalf as it relates to your credit. You can pull your own credit report. You can call every single one of them that are on there that you know is your debt, and you can make a payment arrangement with them. Or you might be able to leverage and use some really good negotiating skills that we'll talk about on this channel and negotiate a settlement for your debt. Maybe you would offer 30 to 40 cents on the dollar, see what they say. A lot of times, at least working in my experience as a collection agent, waiting until the end of the month or the end of the quarter can usually be a really good opportunity to settle the debt that you have, and have that in writing from the collection agency telling you that they will settle this amount for XYZ pennies on the dollar. You get that in writing. That's super important. You don't provide them with any of your banking information. That's super important, because a lot of these companies will literally draft the entire amount even though they told you that they would settle. Get it in writing, mail a money order overnight or whatever the case is, cashier's check, and have it in writing that once you've paid that off, that debt is settled. Before you even tell them that you are going to mail the payment, you want to also get in writing, if it's possible, that they will either erase or show, paid in full or settled in full, that they will report that to credit reporting agencies. The thing is if you've paid it off, that's great. But if they don't report it as, paid in full or settled in full or whatever the case is, then it really doesn't help you. And again, we're only talking about the debt that's showing on your credit report as of the last 7 years. That's the most important thing. The last 7 years. That's all that really matters as it relates to what's out there and what could help or hurt you from a credit reporting standpoint. The next thing that you need to do, guys and gals, is to pay your bills on time going forward. We live in a society of what have you done for me lately? If you are paying your bills on time, even if you're able to get like a secure credit card or something like that, and you pay that sucker on time every time. I would even say if you are in the position where you don't have the best credit, but you are able to get, like I said, a secured line of credit from your bank or your credit union, make sure that you don't spend more than 10% of that balance or that credit amount that you're approved for. Don't spend more than 10% in a given month. Don't look at that credit card as free money, because the banks are looking for you to slip up. The credit card companies, they want you to slip up, and they want you to go further and further and further into debt, because it helps them. Paying just those minimum payments, it helps them. It doesn't really help you as much as you might think, because you're getting crushed in the form of interest. Let me tell you how we did it. So, we had gotten one card. It was a Capital One card with a $500 credit limit, and I still have that card. That's our oldest credit card that we have. Capital One card that we got over 10 years ago at this point. It's still open, zero balance, but I will not close that card because it's my oldest card. And so I know that as it relates to what keeps your credit score high, it's the age of the accounts that you've had open. Things like a Macy's card, a JCPenney card, that really doesn't really help you. But what helps you is secured and unsecured lines of credit directly through these companies. So retail cards, that doesn't really help you, even though you got 10% off of your purchase for signing up. Don't do those anymore, because those aren't good. Not charging more than 10% of the balance in any given month. I'd say 10 to 30%. Anything above 30% will actually ding your credit. Keeping it under a 30% or 10 to 30%, what's called credit utilization ratio, that's going to bump that score up ever so gently as you continue to stay diligent and pay your bills on time every time. You get a $500 credit limit, for example, like I did, then you don't want to charge more than 50 bucks on that card, and then you pay that joker off every month, and your card balance will slowly but surely bump up. The next thing that you want to do, especially if you're dealing in a situation where you're trying to clean up your credit, is try to avoid looking for new credit. I say that with an asterisk on it because obviously in the previous segment I talked about the benefits of a secured line of credit, which you can get through most of your credit unions or whatnot. Don't go out there, especially if you know your credit is not hot. Don't go out there trying to get a Best Buy card. Don't go out there trying to get a retail card, because the retail companies, they get little kickbacks from getting you to sign up. So a lot of times the cashier will say, hey, if you sign up for XYZ rewards credit card, I'll give you 15% of your purchase off today. But what they don't tell you is that the APR on that particular card, if you miss a payment and you don't pay that bill on time, can be upwards of 27.99%. That is insane to be paying that much in interest, but it's legal. So, these companies, like I said, they give you a little carrot and they'll say, you'll get 15% off of your purchase if you put this on credit, not telling on the back end that you're going to be charged 27.99% APR interest if you don't pay your balance on time every month. So I always politely decline them, and if they push it a little bit harder, I just tell them, hey, I really don't do retail credit cards. It's just no benefit to me. We only have literally 3 credit cards. The first one that I mentioned that we've had since college or shortly after college, and I have an Apple card as well as a travel card, and that's going to segue into the benefits of having good credit. So one of the amazing benefits of having great credit, and here's the thing, Skip, I'm of the mindset, I'm more Dave Ramseyan in the way that I approach credit. I know he says stay away from credit cards, cut them up, all that jazz, and that is very true. If you are not the type of person, and if you keep it real with yourself, if you're a responsible individual or not. If you believe that you're very responsible, and again, you take Marv's advice and you pay that sucker off every month, full, all the time, a rewards credit card can have some amazing benefits, and we leverage a lot of them. Like I said, we have 2 credit cards. An Apple card that gives us 3% cash back on purchases of Apple, 2% if I use Apple Pay, which is just paying directly from the phone, and then 1% cash back on everything else. But we also have our Southwest Rewards credit card because we only fly Southwest religiously. We ain't going nowhere now. When we were traveling on a regular basis, we had all of our bills, coming out. We still do have all of our day-to-day bills paid with the travel card. We're racking up those points so that when we are able to, or we feel comfortable traveling, then we're not going to be paying for flights, and we rarely pay for flights for all 3 of us. That's one of the benefits, is once you get to that upper echelon in credit, then you're able to get the type of cards that give you cash back. That's free money. Free money. I love free money. Or travel points where you're able to take trips for free. You're basically getting rewarded for being responsible, and it's what's called credit card hacking. You may have heard of this, or if you Google it, but it's basically how you're able to really, I don't want to say get over on the credit card companies, because that's not really true. You are able to essentially be compensated in the form of cash back or take free trips in the form of travel points, and you're only doing what they are asking you to do, and that's basically paying your bills on time every time. And these cashback rewards, these travel rewards they're not as altruistic as these credit card companies may present them to be, because they are honestly waiting for you to slip up, get suckered in because of the points of the cash back, but then end up charging, a ridiculous balance, and then having to make minimum payments for 10 years. And so you have to play the game how it goes. It's a tango, it's a dance as it relates to debt. So you just got to be responsible. And so if that's not who you are, this video, hopefully, if you take the nuggets that I said as far as pulling your credit score for free using the Credit Karma app, downloading your credit report by going to annualcreditreport.com, I believe is the name, or just Google annual credit report and it's going to be the first link. That's the one. You shouldn't have to pay for it. If they ask you for your credit card information, it's probably a scam. Get in touch with the creditors for the debt that you do know you are responsible for, and find out how you can negotiate with them. Like I said, usually waiting until the end of the month or the end of the quarter is when they typically will be willing to negotiate with you and maybe give you 30 to 40 cents on the dollars. I mean, it's a negotiation. So you present an offer to them and you see what they say. And if they're not willing to work with you, stall them out. Like they said on Friday, stall them out, Debo. Take that time and again, go on to the next creditor and just see. But like I said, you want to focus on the areas that are within your last 7 years as it relates to your credit report. And those are going to be the ones that you really want to hammer down on. And student loans, things of that nature, that's not bankruptable last time I checked. But triple confirm on your end with your money person, but that's not bankruptable. So if you're in a situation right now, especially with all of the perks and benefits that we're getting because of COVID, if you can't pay your student loans right now, if you can't pay your credit card debt, whatever the case is, be proactive, call them, find out exactly what programs they're offering for customers because of everything going on right now with the pandemic, and keep yourself in good standing, because that's the only way you're going to protect your credit score. And then, like I said, leverage this stuff. Get those cashback cards, those travel points cards, those cards that will allow you, once you become responsible and you boost that credit score back up, that will allow you to really take advantage and get free money. We get money every single day, or travel points every single day. And it's an amazing thing, but it took time, because I was the guy that put rims on my my Mitsubishi Galant. I put 18-inch rims on my Mitsubishi Galant. I got it on credit from the tire store because it looked cool and I wanted to be cool. But now we're not, we grown. We ain't doing any of that nonsense now. But it's those little foxes that spoil the vine. Don't get suckered into those. We'll give you 15% off, or we'll give you free shipping if you sign up for our card. Amazon, they're real good on that. They're like, well, we'll give you, I saw it the other day, we'll give you $60 in credit if you sign up for our Amazon card. And you might think that that's a great idea. Know thyself. Know what you are able to do, and know what might be a little too much that you might want to back away from. It says in the good book to run away from temptation. If you're tempted to make irresponsible decisions with your finances, then just focus on the portion of this video where I'm helping you clean up your credit without paying some credit repair company, without paying Joe Schmo that you saw on Instagram that says they can clean up your credit or delete negative things from your credit. Please don't sign up for those things. I saw that the other day on Instagram. You will delete this from your credit report for XYZ. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. If it sounds too good to be true, 9.9 times out of 10, it probably is, because if you owe the debt, trust me, it will come back to bite you. So even if it temporarily allows you to get over, don't play yourself, and don't, please, for the love of God, do not pay any of these companies to delete stuff off your credit or repair your credit. I just had a situation literally the other day where a family member reached out to me because I'm everybody's money guy. And I consider that a blessing, don't get me wrong. But, this person was paying some credit repair company $100 a month or something like that to go out on his behalf and negotiate his payments for the various things that he owed, only to find out that they were taking his money per month, but they had never done anything that they said that they were going to do as it relates to negotiating his rate, as it relates to settling some of his debts for him with the money. They didn't do any of that. And when we called them together, they simply said, oh, well, we sent the paperwork, but we didn't hear back from them. They didn't tell us anything about following up, but they were still collecting every month that monthly fee that they were drafting out of his checking account in order to repair his credit. Don't fall for the tricks, guys. You can do all of this stuff on your own by yourself, but it will take a day or two or a week to, again, call every one of those creditors, find out what the situation is, find out if the debt is legit, and then handle your business. Whether you employ the debt snowball method like Dave Ramsey talks about, or if you want to go the debt avalanche method, which is another method that you can Google. That's the way you're gonna do it. That's the way you're gonna clean your stuff up. That's the way you're gonna eventually get to that high 700 credit score, 800 credit score, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, but it's also, like I said, it's a responsibility that if we don't keep our stuff current and make our payments on a regular basis and find those other income streams that we can bring in, that way when things are down in one business like it is right now, especially because of COVID, one of our hustles has struggled right now, but we've been okay because we have, again, multiple irons in the fire. Credit will get you places that cash cannot, and that is a beautiful thing. All right, guys, until the next video, this is your boy Marv with the Early Life Project. I will talk to you soon. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button on your way out of here. Be sure to check out the links in the description box below. Get after it. All right, guys, talk to you guys soon. By the way, before I check out here, I want to give a big shout out to the creators of this shirt, Culturally Responsive Clothing. Be sure to check them out. The link to do so is in the description of the video. I'm loving this investor shirt here because that's what your boy is. I'm an investor in people. I'm an investor in the stock market. I'm an investor in real estate. And if you are one of those things, or you have a goal to be one of those things, copy your gear right now. Link to do it is in the description box below.